Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back on the video, and today we return with college football videos. As today we will be recapping week 11. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. This may be a little bit shorter on the recap side as I just have overall a busy day today. This is why the video is going to be uploaded a little bit later. So it's not going to be as many games as there usually is during the recap. But then on the other end, there really wasn't as many exciting games this weekend or impactful games compared to the past few weeks. But let's hop straight into it. And the first one is such a hard thing to say as an Oregon fan. Number 25 Washington went into Eugene and defeated the Ducks 37-34. And I can go have this entire video just talking about this game, so I'm just going to keep it short. There is so many what ifs in this game. What if we didn't go for the onside kick in the second quarter? What if we didn't go on fourth down right there when Ty Thompson was in, when Bo Nix injured himself? What if we just punted that ball away? What if Washington scored that field goal to take the lead by 3? Or what if we just passed it with Ty Thompson? Like, I would have been more confident in passing with Ty Thompson because the defense would have been anticipating a run right there. But, Bo Nix, a phenomenal game, but the defense for Oregon was absolutely hard. And I have to give props to Washington. Michael Penix Jr. had the game of his life. And if you have been a long-time lifer with this channel since 2019, I was giving praise to Michael Penix on how he's going to be a superstar in college football. Kind of elevated in 2020 as Indiana had a historic year that year. 2021 obviously disappointed me, but he was injured. But he's proven himself in this Washington pass-heavy scheme. He had over 400 yards, and the secondary for Oregon was horrendous. And everyone's blaming this loss with the Ducks on Dan Lanning. And I'm going to say, yes, some of that part is going to be on Dan Lanning. But the majority of it is going to go towards our secondary and Tosh Lupoi. Tosh Lupoi had some awful play calls on defense, and he was not able to stop the pass even though we knew they were going to be passing it. But on the flip end, Washington could not stop our run game. Oregon had like a 10-11 minute drive, 20 plus plays, and like 17 of those plays were rushing plays. Bucky Irving was going off. He had like 15 broken tackles. Man, Oregon had this game in their hands and they just fumbled the bag. And coincidentally, I'm a Falcons fan, so I'm used to choking this. But this is a game I was not anticipating on losing. And man, this hurts. But congrats to Washington and Michael Penix Jr. because they all had a great game. Next game is number 9 Alabama going on the road and defeating the number 11 Ole Miss Rebels 30-24. And Ole Miss, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, they played good during some parts and they just looked bad. And the main thing about this game is Alabama's just the far talented team. Bryce Young was making Bryce Young plays, getting out of the pocket, making some insane throws, and Alabama ultimately survived this game. Alabama's most likely going to win out as you face Auburn, and then you have Austin Peay next week, but they're not going to make the SEC championship game. That has been decided, but Alabama, if you at least win these next 2 games, you still have the slightest of slight chances to make the college football playoff. It's going to be miraculous, but you still have a chance. But this ultimately destroys Ole Miss's chances of making the college football playoff in my mind. Number 4, TCU defeats number 18 Texas 17-10. And I should have known. I had Texas winning big. I had them winning by 11 points, scoring 40-plus points. This offense was horrendous for Texas, mainly because of Quinn Ewers. He just had a bad game. This TCU defense also looked really good. The only scoring touchdown Texas had, I'm pretty sure, was a scoop and score. I could be wrong because I was mainly focused on that Oregon game. But TCU, once they had that rushing touchdown with Miller for like 70-plus yards, even though there was like 4 minutes left in the third, it just felt like that was the game-winning touchdown, and ultimately it was. TCU has a tough game on the road at Baylor next week on Big Noon Kickoff, so that's going to be probably TCU's last big test before you host Iowa State and then the Big 12 championship. But as long as TCU maintains this consistency, they are going to pretty much easily make the college football playoff in my mind. Number 7, LSU defeats Arkansas on the road 13-10. Arkansas had snow the previous night, so it was a very unique cold game during that time. But the player of the game for LSU is Harold Perkins, the true freshman linebacker. 4 sacks, which broke a school record. He had multiple forced fumbles, if I'm not mistaken. To be honest, I was watching Black Panther during that time, so I could be wrong. But LSU offensively really wasn't gelling correctly, it seemed, as this Arkansas defense did take full advantage. But as long as LSU does win out, which you could, and you probably should, they're going to face Georgia in the SEC Championship, and they still have a chance to make the college football playoff. Arizona defeats UCLA 34-28, ultimately dooms the Pac-12's chances of making the college football playoff. USC has to win out, and UCLA does host USC next week. So if UCLA wins next week, the Pac-12 just blew up their chances to make the college football playoff. And it's just another year the Pac-12 just shooting themselves in the foot, it seems. Arizona, I knew they're going to be bound for an upset. They even kept it close at home a few weeks ago versus USC. They kind of look somewhat good versus Oregon at home too. But I was not expecting this at all. I thought it was going to be a 10-point win from UCLA. It was a 7-6 point game win for Arizona. Arizona's on the rise, folks, so keep an eye on them for next year, especially if Jaden DeLaura does return at quarterback for the Wildcats. Arizona's program's on the rise, and UCLA's playoffs hopes are over. Number 22 UCF defeats number 17 Tulane 38-31. It was a little bit more of a high-scoring game than I originally anticipated, as I thought both of the defenses would pick it up. But overall, UCF just seems to have more of the talent. John Rice Plumlee's on the thumbnail for a reason. Not only was he a beast through the air, he had more rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. So him on the ground was an absolute lethal attack for this Green Wave defense. And UCF basically had control of this game. It was more than, let's just say, they had more control, and it's more of a blowout than it seems with the final score. So great win for UCF, and this, unless they lose another game, they're basically locked in to get into the New Year's Six bowl spot for the group of 5. Number 15, North Carolina defeats Wake Forest on the road 36-34, and Drake May had another phenomenal game. And if North Carolina wins out in the regular season, I'm just handing the Heisman to Drake May at this point. What he has done with this Tar Heels team is absolutely phenomenal. Josh Downs had another great game. And I'm kind of surprised that Wake Forest did keep it this close. I will say that. So props to the Demon Deacons. You've lost 3 straight, though. And North Carolina solidifies themselves in the ACC Championship alongside Clemson. We'll get to Clemson next. But it's going to be very unique to see how North Carolina is positioned. Your only loss was a bad home loss versus Notre Dame. But if you've won every game since then and you are a 9-1 team, it's going to be very curious to see where the college football playoff places them in this upcoming top 25. Number 10, Clemson defeats Louisville 31-16. This is a bounce back game that Clemson really needed. You should probably easily win out with the remaining schedule. And then, like I said a few seconds ago, you will face North Carolina in the ACC Championship. And that's going to be a really unique matchup because Clemson's offense has struggled, but North Carolina's defense has struggled as well. And North Carolina's offense looks electric right now, and Clemson has one of the best defenses in college football. So that's going to be an overall fun matchup. For Louisville, it was an iffy game. Malik Cunningham did get hurt in the first half, so it's kind of questionable. Would this game be close, or would the Cardinals have an upset? If Cunningham stayed healthy, we'll never know. But great bounce-back win for Clemson. Purdue defeats number 21 Illinois 31-24. And it just makes my ranking of Illinois at 13 in the mid-season before they lost last week just look even worse. Purdue is after a few weird losses. Like, Purdue is such an off and on team, and to be honest, that's with the entire Big West. At this point, it's like a 4-way tie. I don't even know who's winning. I'm pretty sure Purdue's at top with this victory. So these last 2 weeks are going to be crucial in the Big Ten West to see who solidifies themselves in the Big Ten Championship. And Illinois, you need to get your balance together because you have a big time test next week at Michigan. UConn is going to a bowl game. Yes, UConn is making a bowl game under Jim Mora. What Jim Mora has done is absolutely phenomenal as they defeated Liberty of all teams yesterday 36-33. 2 experienced head coaches going at it, and UConn gets to win at home. Like, this is monumental for UConn's football program. They were regarded as one of the worst teams, and now you're making a bowl game? It's just crazy to think that UConn is making a bowl game before Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Talking about Texas A&M, Auburn defeats Texas A&M 13-10. And as the Aggies were ranked number 5 in the preseason, they are now 3-7 and the first team to be ranked in the top 10 of the preseason poll to not make a bowl game since, I'm pretty sure, 2010 Texas. And that is absolutely insane. Jimbo Fisher better be packing his bags right now. I'm surprised if he's going to get a plane ticket home. So this is just a great win for Auburn. Well, not a great win. Both of these programs suck currently. So this is just a good win for Auburn, and this is just a horrendous loss for Texas A&M. And Texas A&M, you may just go ahead and spoil LSU's season that final week. Who knows? But this is embarrassing for the Aggies program. And the final game we'll talk about today is number 20 Notre Dame getting a neutral site victory in Baltimore versus Navy 35-32. This just shows that Notre Dame is one of the most inconsistent teams in all college football. They show up in big-time games, yet they don't appear in these mid-games like a team versus Navy. This is a great going for Navy, but Notre Dame, this is very questionable as you have USC in a few weeks on the road. So it's a good win for Notre Dame, but at the same time, it's really not. So Week 11 was just overall shocking. So many shocking and weird results. And Week 12 and Week 13, they're right around the corner. So many great games to end the year. And I just love college football, and that's why I'm doing this thing. So hopefully you enjoyed this recap. Like, share, subscribe, push notifications on so you don't miss any of my videos. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.